Welcome back, all you crazy people. Yes, another pre-show live stream. But if you have got somewhere else to be, no obligations to be here today. It's just me chilling, chatting, and getting ready for the main show. And I'll be with you real soon. There we go. Yes, there we go. One of my stories up there already. I had it all laid out. I think it was seen this published in another article in our website last week. But you can now send your remains to the moon. There you go. So with that little chestnut, with that little nugget of wisdom, who have we got hanging out here in the chat room today? I don't expect we'll have too many people here today at all. We've got Thanksgiving coming up in the US. We've got a lot of stuff happening around the world. And if, like I say, you've got somewhere else to be, please, please, please do not feel obliged to be here. It's going to be nothing serious. You ain't going to get something here today that's going to improve your life any great length at all. It's just me chilling, chatting, and Felicia, Rick, in the chat room. For 1 minute there, I thought the chat was broke. I thought it was just me. I thought Mary and ZX and Rose and Naysay and first Jose, Ramon, Francis. I thought you'd all deserted me. I really did. So that was a really quick shout out for the chat room today, right? Did I get away with that? I probably did. But Rick, how you doing, brother? I hope the weather's a lot better where you are than I am. Nasty, man. Bearded, fellow Glaswegian, your weather will be pretty much the same as mine, right? I would imagine. Donnie, his weather will be nothing like ours because he's down in Australia. Mary is cooking the dinner. If I can keep you company while you're doing that, Mary, then for me, this irrelevant, just chill out, nothing stream has become something. I'm providing value to somebody, and that makes me happy. It really does. So today we've got a little look at the latest on the Monolith. Somebody has gone and done what I hoped they would do. It's been tracked down on Google Earth. The mystery deepens. What else have I got for you today? I've got a really creepy, haunted asylum over in Ireland that we're going to take a look at some of the photographs of. We'll talk about some of our favourite or some of the places that we think are most haunted. Maybe some of the places we would least likely want to be alone on a dark night. There's a little bit of that. There's a little bit of me. There's what else have we got here? A mysterious stone formation found in a lake, and it's not Loch Ness this time. No. Last night on the show we had Malaya, who came on the show, and wow, what a show that developed into. But she was talking about water entities, water spirits, and the connections between Loch Ness and some of the other bodies of water around the world. And Loch Ness has got a stone circle. It's got many stone circles, in fact, at one end of the loch. Nobody really knows a lot about them. And now I've got another stone formation underwater for us to take a look at today. So with that said, nobody else is turning up right now. We're just going to get into it. We're just going to go for it, folks. So we're going to go back to this blooming monolith in the Utah desert. I tell you, this is the story. No, I don't need to come there. I'm not going there. You see, you get a little sneak peek of the members lounge there. Did you see that? If you blinked, you probably missed it. But here we go. The mysterious monolith has been there for years. Okay, now yesterday I'd said how I'd mentioned Shia LaBeouf, and when he had a kind of war with the autists of Reddit and 4chan and 8chan. When these people get to work, they can do amazing things. They can track down anything, anywhere. And I was hopeful, very hopeful yesterday, that we would start to see people online really digging in to the Monolith story. And we have now got a picture of it right there from Google Earth. So this comes from Futurism. And again, it's not the kind of website that I kind of associate with the kind of news that we cover. But yet here they are now, not 2 stories, but 3 stories they've had in 2 days about the Monolith. And I know a lot of people are making a point to rightly point out that there's rivets. You can see man-made, or at least what looks like man-made joinings, rivets, screws, okay? They're there. It's definitely a part of it. For me, it doesn't take any of that romantic mystery off it, because until we know for sure, and maybe we already do. So I'm going to leave the disco open again, in case anyone can drop in the answer to our little conundrum here, our little quandary that we find ourselves in with the mystery monolith. And if you have been hiding on the moon base or up in Mars for the past couple of days, maybe you'll have missed that a mystery monument, a mystery monolith has appeared, or at least been discovered in the wild, the wilderness, the wildlands. Sounds a bit post-apocalyptic, that, doesn't it? But in the wilderness of rugged Utah. Look at this, it's in the middle of nowhere. We're lucky to have ever found this at all. But what does it say? It says, well, that was fast. Over the weekend, a team of biologists discovered a bizarre metal monolith in the middle of the Utah wilderness, prompting real-world intrigue from me and bajillions like me, as well as humorous comparisons to Stanley Kubrick's 1968 film 2001: A Space Odyssey. Now, it says it's still a mystery as to who put it there or why, but a group of eagle-eyed Reddit users have already discovered the location of the monolith on Google Earth. So if we open this up here, I dare say this is going to take us into... Oh, it's taking us right into Google Earth, unfortunately. Hopefully it's going to have the coordinates on it if it loads. Come on, load up Google Earth. Sometimes the web-based app is pretty atrocious. Here we go. So there we have it. Look at that there. Now we can definitely see that that's in there. You can see the shadow it's casting. Now, when did this picture come from? So if we come back here, it says it may only be a matter of time until crowds show up to take selfies with the unusual construct. But just so we're clear, you probably shouldn't visit. You'd only end up putting yourself and others in danger, not to mention needlessly bothering the nearby wildlife and travelling during that thing that's going on right now. So according to Google's archive of satellite imagery, the monolith appears to have been erected at some point between August 2015 and October 2016, and is less than a mile away from what appears to be a trail. So it's not that far off a relatively well-beaten track, if I can put it that way. A spokesperson, no longer a spokesman, a spokesperson. I'm woke on here, you know. If I hadn't said spokesperson, I would have said that. I would have. For Utah's Department of Public Safety speculated to the New York Times that it could have been there even longer, telling the paper that for all we know, it's been installed since the 40s or 50s. That's a bit, he narrows that right down, didn't they? You know, why not just say it could have been installed anytime throughout history? But no, this dude here's going for the 40s or 50s, very definite. So it says somebody took the time to use some type of concrete cutting tool or something to really dig down, almost in the exact shape of the object, and embedded it really well. It's odd. There are roads close by, but to haul the materials to cut into the rock and haul the metal, which is taller than 12 feet in sections, to do all that in that remote spot is definitely interesting. Not impossible. Definitely not impossible, but interesting. So it'd be quite an expedition, and not without risks to get there. According to Google Maps, it's about an hour and a half drive from the nearest highway, and with little more than half a mile of unpaved road to cover at the end of the journey. Now, the location was initially kept under wraps by authorities to keep nosy trespassers at bay. And the exact location of the installation has not been disclosed, since it is in a very remote area, and if individuals would attempt to visit the area, there's a significant possibility that they might become stranded and require rescue. So I'm still looking over in Discord, and nope, still, from what I can see there, and we'll have a look in a minute, see if it's been solved. Still no further to get much an answer for this. So officials are now calling for its removal, as it is, oh please, illegal to install structures or art without authorization on federally managed public lands, no matter what planet you're from. Now, that land is so well managed that nobody knows who went there, when they went there, why they went there, and what they left there. So that alone, it kind of makes a mockery of this. You know, you shouldn't be doing this on federally managed land. Not well managed land. Can we all agree on that? I think so. Happy Thanksgiving. I see Felicia saying that. Is it Thanksgiving today? Yeah, it looks like it. You see us people over here, us heathens, us uncivilized people, east of America. We don't do the Thanksgiving thing. Nah. We're saving all our pennies for Black Friday, which never used to be a thing over here. Yet another unfortunate export that we've got from the US market. And Christmas is coming up. Well, kind of coming up, right? But yeah, I could tomorrow. You see, I stand corrected again. And talking of tomorrow, since it's Thanksgiving, I am going to be taking a little bit of thanks time to myself. Yeah, I'm going to take a day off tomorrow. I've decided tomorrow night I'm going to take a night off. Scotty Lopez is busy with the family for Thanksgiving, so I think that gives me a good enough excuse to say, you know what, by golly, I'm going to take a day off too, because I don't really plan days off. So tomorrow night, yep, okay, third phase of the moon, absolutely tremendous, but I'll never go and watch that channel. And we've spotted the rivets. See, this is what I don't figure out though. Because it's got rivets and it's hollow, how does that mean it's man-made? I'm not saying it's not man-made, but how does that debunk it being man-made? You know, if we use rivets and we make things hollow, who's to say other people or other entities wouldn't, you know? I still think it's definitely a piece of art from somebody. I would have thought they probably would have come forward by now. But possibly something's happened. Maybe they're not with us anymore. Maybe the people that originally put it there. I don't know. But yeah, Bearded, definitely not one of my channels I would recommend there. Not to say you shouldn't watch it though. That's all. Just not one of my personal favourites. Marty! Yes, indeed. Nacy as well. A happy Thanksgiving to both of you. Amazing Americans over there. So look, we'll keep an eye on the mysterious monolith. We'll see if we do get an answer by the end of it. Hopefully we do. Hopefully it'll have a bit of ambiguity still about it for some time. Because that way it makes great Speculation Island talking points for sure. So next up today, and I found this early on. I seen the headline. I hadn't even seen the pictures of the place at that point, but I thought, well, that looks like the kind of thing we could talk about on a pre-show stream. So, haunted locations. I mean, you think of maybe haunted houses, haunted hotels, haunted jails, haunted prisons, but one of the most infamous, I would imagine, one of the locations that really is quite synonymous with hauntings after they've been closed down are asylums. Now, usually, you'll see the American ghost hunting teams will go to an asylum here, an asylum there, an asylum anywhere. But this time, we're going all the way to Ireland. Yes, just a short trip across the water from where I am. And Asylum X. I mean, already the name of it's up there, right? I mean, when you're called Asylum X, you know there's going to be woo that follows. Now, I don't even know if there's any actual genuine bona fide woo that is associated with this place. But when you start to see the photographs, just picture yourself there at night, alone, either doing an investigation or for whatever reason you've ended up there. Who knows why? Okay, can you just imagine how scary this place would be? Couple of the details first, and then we'll take a look at it, right? So we've got padded cells, peeling walls, and abandoned wheelchairs. Inside the deserted Irish Asylum X, where curable lunatics were once dumped by their families and forced into straitjackets. That sounds horrendous. So it says the hospital in Ballinasloe, probably. Yeah, Ballinasloe. We'll call it B. Opened in 1833 and took in thousands of curable lunatics and dangerous idiots. Oh, if dangerous idiots got locked up today, there wouldn't be enough asylums. It symbolised an era in which overcrowded asylums often resorted to restraints, sedatives, and straitjackets. Horrendous. There's something pretty scary about the thought of being put into a place like this back in the day, is there not? Literally thrown in there and forgotten about in too many uncounted, untold cases. Crazy. Now, Urban Explorer, and that's something Jason, our good friend First Paranormal's been doing. He's been doing a bit of urban exploration, and he's going to be coming on to a special KBS broadcast on Saturday night, right here on the channel. We'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about his weird experience that Luna and Malaya were able to provide for him, about some really metaphysical, cool woo type stuff. It involves a green cloak, I'm pretty sure Malaya said last night. And it involves Jason and something that happened to him on a paranormal investigation. It's going to be really, really cool, right? But it says here, these creepy images, and we're going to look at them in a moment. I'm not going to read all of this. Reveals the haunting remains of an abandoned Irish lunatic asylum, which was once overcrowded with mentally ill patients who were forced into straitjackets and padded cells. Many have argued over the years that I myself probably would benefit from a padded cell from time to time. But that's how mad I get. The mental hospital in Ballinasloe, I've definitely butchered that. Nobody in Ireland ever called it Ballinasloe. So which opened in 1833 to take care of curable lunatics and dangerous idiots, were sometimes sent away from prisons and workhouses or abandoned by their families. Now, Ballinasloe became a symbol of an era in which growing numbers of asylum inmates led to ever more draconian use of chains, sedatives, and padded cells to keep the inmates under control. Now, what later became St. Bridget's Hospital finally closed its doors in 2013, not that long ago. And urban explorer Kathy Henry has since ventured behind its walls to capture the eerie remains of the unit. So wait till you see the state of this place. It is terrifying. Remember, think to yourself there, at night, alone or part of a ghost hunting team, calling out into these cavernous, spacious corridors. The echoes, all the little noises amplified at night, echoing around in the wards, in the corridors. All of a sudden, you get the bang of a door, the rattle of a chain, all of these noises, they're kind of accentuated, and just your heightened sense of awareness when it's dark at night, if you're in one of these locations, all of that. That's the combination for really, really, really. Yep, exactly. So this here says padded cells in what was once a secure wing of the hospital, which housed thousands of patients over a nearly 200-year history, including some who were sent from prisons and workhouses. And then you find that's just lying on the floor. A model of the human body, once used to teach anatomy at the hospital in Ballinasloe, keeps an eerie watch over a corridor in the now closed institution which once symbolised the age of Victorian mental hospitals. And bear in mind, it's only been shut for 7 years. Imagine the spirits that are still attached to that place. I feel nervous kind of even thinking about it. Jason, you need to get to Ireland and do this place, man. Look at that. That looks terrifying even in daylight. A dark, decaying corridor at the mental hospital gives a sense of the creepy atmosphere in the abandoned building, which opened in 1833 and over the decades became far too crowded to accommodate the hundreds who resided there. Yes, indeed. Imagine that Jace just stood there asking out. Maybe you'll hear footsteps coming towards you, but nobody there. How does that happen? And especially in a location like this. Is it that stone tape theory that we looked up one Freaky Friday before? Where literally emotions, consciousness, the energy that people give off is recorded in the rock, in the actual foundations, in the building itself. I like to think it's more along those lines as opposed to anyone trapped there for eternity. Or do these ghosts, where they are, on their side of the veil, does it still look like the same as it was when they were once there? Do they even know they have passed over? All stuff to think about, innit? Okay, so here's another one here. Caution, slippery floor. That'd be the absolute most minuscule of worries on my mind would be a slippery floor. Although probably when I'm running away from things, I might want to know about the slippery floor, right enough. This is a wheelchair sits empty next to a puddle in the corridor of the abandoned building, which remained open as a 22-bed mental hospital until 2013. Oh boy. Why am I saying oh boy? Because I tell you, when you watch these paranormal investigations and things, pianos, they have, or they can, not always, but they sometimes produce what I would call evidence of the paranormal, supernatural activity. The key being pressed, ding. Imagine that when there's nothing else, no other noise in the place, and there goes the piano again. Maybe George is at the piano giving us a song. I don't know who George is, but there's bound to have been somebody called George played the piano at some point. But creepy place, right? Creepy. Oh, you just know there's going to be wanderings up and down that stairs, don't you? Imagine all the people, all the lives, all the stories they could tell up and down those stairs, up and down, day after day, week after week, year after year. People coming and going. Varying states of stress, angst, anxiety, mental disassociation, craziness, literal peak craziness, and then just left abandoned. You know, even if there's no hocus pocus ghosts attached to that place, you get 2 or 3 people with the power of their mind and all the same things that I'm talking about swirling about in their subconscious, and you better believe you're going to get a paranormal activity to remember Oh, you better believe it. Now, big question is that external to you or is it internal? Are you the one producing said paranormal activity? I don't think there's any one answer fits all, folks. I really don't. There's a picture of the place itself. It just looks so drab, so depressing, so end of the road, right? I mean, you must drive into there and think, oh, this is it. Wow. So it says the exterior of the mental hospital, also known as Asylum X, sounds like the name for a horror movie. Which, like many Victorian-era asylums, saw a massive growth in its population during the 19th century. There we go. Very interesting shape. I'm sure some people will read things into shapes. Not a big geometry kind of guy. I can't pick out all of these kind of occult symbols and signs. Not saying they're not there. Said I'm stupid. I can't find them. So the sprawling complex had an innovative design in which the governor and his families were based at the centre and the inmates lived in separate wings which radiated out from the middle, looking like an X from the top and sounding like a panopticon. Very much like a panopticon. You have your jailers in the middle and everyone else on the outside. You know? This here reminds me, you know what this reminds me of? Aleister Crowley's corridor. Aleister Crowley's corridor. The paint, the wallpaper all dripping off. And then in Crowley's house, it was just one big giant line. And then you walked into the rest of the house, it was decimated. Decimated. Okay, so now we've got bones. The bathtub at the empty asylum contained a pile of debris with an alarming resemblance to human bones. An alarming resemblance, I would say. I think somebody needs to get in there. Like, is it an osteopath? Is that what somebody deals with bones? Oh, look at this. Look at this. This has got to be used for some kind of haunted movie at some point, right? It's got to be. It's got everything you need, man. Oh, again, you can imagine being in there at night, lights all off, night vision on, something tapping on the glass. Oh. You ain't getting me going in there. No danger. What a waste of a place, eh? Then again, there's beds in the hall, chairs. Probably somebody sits there at night rocking away. Arrgh. They probably don't, but you know what I'm saying. But yeah, asylums. Definitely one of the most haunted type of location I can think of. That's for sure. Now I'm going to have a quick drink of coffee. We're going to come back. We've got one last story about a stone formation under the water somewhere. And then we'll get ready. We'll head on over. We'll get done whisking in hour number 1. And then I've got plenty to talk about in hour number 2 today. Yes, you're going to have to sit and listen to me. That's right. It's my show, and I'm going to talk about what I want to. No, I'm only joking, but it is my show. And in hour number 2, you get yours truly solo today. Hour 1, Don Whiskin's going to be on. But I've still got one more story to go, folks. Don't go anywhere. Join me after I get a little drink, and I'll be right back. There we go. There we go. So then, one last story to get to here. Last night we were talking about Loch Ness, and when I done my recent presentation over on the Fringe Fest with Ryan Gable, Clyde Lewis, Jordan Maxwell, Charlie Robinson, Brad Olson. Oh, I tell you, they were all there. They were all there. What I talked about for a little while was Kleinhenge. Kleinhenge is something that was discovered by an MIT professor, Marty Klein, I believe his name is. And he came over to the Loch in 1976, and he was one of the inventors of side scan or sideband sonar. One of the first people to locate the actual wreckage of the Titanic with that technology. And when he used it in Loch Ness, they found stone structures, concentric circles at one end of the loch. Always baffled me. What baffles me even more is that it's so little known amongst the locals up there. You know, you'd imagine something like that, people discovering stone circles in the loch, that would be quite well known. That would be a talking point. That would be something that gets passed down over the years. But no, not many people know about it. Hardly anyone talks about it. Now, when it comes to stone structures under the water, lost cities, lost civilizations, Graham Hancock's done some really great work on this. I came across another story today that might tie in. Now, give me 1 second, folks. Stand by. There we go, we're back. We're back. A little bit dizzy there. Not good. Yeah, let's get into this. So, a mystery stone formation found in the Great Lakes. Now, this comes from October, earlier on in the year. It says a team of researchers has discovered a mysterious stone formation beneath the Straits of Mackinac. Great name for a place, eh? Known as Search Inc., the group, which is mostly made up of Native American tribal citizens, had been using a remote-operated underwater vehicle to carry out a cultural assessment of oil and gas pipelines on the lake bed when they came across what appeared to be an artificial stone formation. Now, the find could have considerable significance, especially given the last time the region was not completely underwater was likely 10,000 years ago, at the end of the last ice age. We didn't expect to find this. It's really just amazing, said group member Andrea Pierce. My question is, who knew they were there? Now, it's certainly not the first time something like this has been found in the region. Back in 2009, the Uni of Michigan discovered similar formations in Lake Huron near Alpena. And the latest find has sparked some degree of controversy, especially given that the discovery does, if the discovery does turn out to be significant, it could halt further underwater infrastructure development in the area. And good, because as much as it's been lost to the rising of water in that area over 10,000 years, you know, it needs to be preserved as much as you can, as much as is feasibly possible with it being underwater, right? It says previous surveys of the region had also failed to find any significant or any sign of artificial formations. So that a side scan sonar imagery was used to map the lake bed, and we found no submerged cultural resources in the area that was assessed. And that was Enbridge spokesman Ryan Duffy. Now, we have not seen the report from the organisation suggesting they have discovered a significant features, and we do not know if they assessed the same areas that we did. We would welcome the opportunity to meet and talk with the group, and efforts to confirm the discovery will likely be at the forefront of efforts over the next few months. If the formations do turn out to be man-made, they could be a very important discovery indeed. Oh, you better believe it. Graham Hancock, his book Before America, I think that's the name of it. He does some really great work tracing back civilizations way beyond 10,000 years ago in the US. We'll take a look at the story. I wonder if there's any pictures of what they found. Be interesting if there was, right? A team of non-scientists may have inadvertently confirmed the most important finding in Great Lakes archaeology in at least a decade. So here we are here. Now, you can certainly see, it's quite hard to see admittedly, but I can see some kind of, looks like concentric circles or mounds. That's what it looks like anyway. I may be wrong. Try to see if there's any more images. The Great Lakes were formed after massive miles-deep glaciers come down from the north more than 13,000 years ago, gouging deep gorges into the rock and earth and filling them with water as the ice retreated. But that slow retreat took thousands of years, and melting waters of the glaciers creating vast prehistoric lakes. And as the incredible weight of all that ice lifted, the pressed down earth began to rebound in different places at different times. This opened and closed channels and waterways and caused the depths of those early lakes to fluctuate wildly. Between 11,000 and 9,000 years ago, a lake known as Glacial Lake Stanley existed in the area of the modern Lake Huron, with water levels that were more than 300 feet lower than the lake's current elevations. And if we come and look at let's see. There we go. Now this is actually this is the archived, this is the digitized page. If I blow this up here. Stonehenge find, or Stonehenge-like find, reported at Loch Ness. 1 month and 12 days after I was born. Yep. So it says here, though frustrated in its search this summer for the Loch Ness Monster, an American-led team of engineers and scientists has reported the discovery that could be of considerable archaeological interest. Some apparently ancient stone formations in the shallow end of the Scottish lake. As a Scotsman, it makes me physically repulsed to call it a lake. But it is what it is in this article, okay? Discovery was made during a sonar survey for carcasses or other evidence of the large creatures said to inhabit Loch Ness. Now, the assumption is that the distinctive rings seen on the sonar charts could be the ceremonial stone circles or burial cairns associated with the early Celtic tribes and, in legend at least, with their priesthood, the Druids. The most striking and familiar stone circle in Britain is Stonehenge, but hundreds of others are found throughout the British Isles and in parts of Western Europe. Now, this guy's name is definitely Klein, not Clinton. Marty Klein, a sonar expert with the Loch Ness expedition, said that a number of submerged stone formations were located off Loch End in Dores Bay and near Cherry Island. Now, let me just explain, there's something wrong here. Okay, so we've got Loch Ness, map of it, right? Let me just bring that out here, put it in here. So, there's where I was born, okay? Down at that bit down there. Okay, can you see that bit where the arrow is? Right? You've got Invermorrison, 7 miles away. And our 13 miles to Drumnadrochit. Not Dog shit. And then you've got our 13 miles to Inverness. Now you've got a road that comes the other way. And up here you've got Foyers. And that's where most of my family come from. And it's where Boleskine House is. And if you keep going up the road, you come to Dores. Okay, so Marty Klein was working at this end of the Loch, the shallow end, right? Because it goes into the River Ness. And they mentioned how you had Cherry Island. Well, Cherry Island's a problem because Cherry Island is way back down, right at Fort Augustus. That's where that is. Okay. Cherry Island, Loch Ness. There we go. That's it. That's all you see above water today. Now, back in the 1500s, they reckon there was some kind of building on there, potentially a castle. Definitely man-made. When divers have been down, you see the different layers where it's been. It's man-made. But this is at totally the wrong end of the loch. This is way down here. And that's way up there yet in this article. Where were we? It's talking about how they're near Dores Bay and near Cherry Island. Well, they can't be near both unless they're at both ends. Although, from what I believe, they only done a survey up at the other end. Make of it what you will. It is what it is. It looks as we might have something. So it should say it looks as if we might have something, and it may be of major archaeological importance, Mr. Klein said in a telephone interview from his office in Salem. Now, he is president of Klein Associates Inc., an undersea survey company, and recently returned from Loch Ness. Most of the formations lie in 30 or 40 feet of water, and this suggests the possibility, Mr. Klein said, that the water level of Loch Ness was once lower and, of interest to archaeologists, that some stone artifacts have probably remained undisturbed for many centuries. Most such land sites have been thoroughly examined, and you think about it, it'd be like pristine condition down there, untouched. Dr. Aubrey Burrell, author of The Stone Circles of the British Isles, to be published next month by the Yale University Press, and remember, this is 76, estimates that most of the stone circles were erected between 2500 BC and 1000 BC. Dr. Burrell is Senior Lecturer of Prehistory at Hull College in Scotland. Now, Mr. Klein said the expedition's sonar survey also found in somewhat deeper water in Loch End a circle about 100 feet in diameter and another about 50 feet wide. That's pretty significant, folks. Both circles appear as large black spots on our sonar recording, and Mr. Klein explained, and possibly these are submerged crannigs. Now, crannigs are miniature islands which had tiny forts on. They were man-made and were also known elsewhere in Scotland. Cherry Island is the only visible crannig in Loch Ness. Now, both black spots have rows of circular dots leading into their perimeters. The discovery has been brought to the attention of Edinburgh University archaeologists, who noted that the area around Loch Ness and Inverness contained many sites of ancient stone formations. But the Loch Ness expedition is making plans this fall to further explore the nature of the circles using divers and underwater photography while continuing its sonar and photographic search for the Loch Ness Monster. And isn't it ironic? And, all that time's passed. 76 until today. 44 years. And now we're still using the top of the range side scan sonar to look for Nessie. But we're starting to find things now. So I'll be back in just a moment, wet my throat, get my inhaler, get my breath back, and then we'll head on over to the main Kev Baker show today. I hope you're looking forward to that. I am. It's going to be a good one. Yes, Dave, you made it just on time. Just on time. Just on time. Karen, I am okay. Thank you for asking. Wow, I keep on taking people over into the member zone. I can't be doing that. Can't be doing that. Hang on now. Yep, there we go. Yes, I'm good, Karen. I'm good. Thank you for asking. I was a bit dizzy earlier on. Don't know what that was all about, but we're good. We're good to go. We've got Dawn coming up in just over half an hour. We'll be talking about our... Well, I can't say it on here or I'll probably get kicked off. You know what we'll be talking about? We'll be talking about the heart. Talking about health matters. And in hour number 2, I'm going to let rip. Yes, I'm going to let rip. Well, not really. I've got a load of stories we've got pulled up. We've got some woo. We've got some good stuff. And it's just going to be me and all of you. And then tomorrow night, because Scotty's taking the day off for Thanksgiving, I am going to blatantly skive. I'm taking a day to myself tomorrow. Yes, I am. I'm going to take a day off. I'm going to chill out. I'm going to put my feet up. We might not have Thanksgiving over here, but I think I might even go and get a bit of turkey. Just to feel like I'm partaking in the festivities, all right? Okay? Don't say I'm not inclusive like that. You know, I'm dead woke here. So what are the chat room saying? St. Marionette, a big hi to you. Dave Adam, you just made it. You just made it, dude. Just. Long-time listener from the shadows, says George Rickwood. George, I was wondering what your name was. Usually I'm in the shadows lurking as well. I see kind of figures in the shadows with me. I always find lurk mode I don't know. I just like to lurk when I'm on a stream. There we go. Loch Ness around 230 meters in some parts. Yep. It's a big old cold place, is Loch Ness, for sure. What else we got? In fact, I've still got my Loch Ness presentation here, I believe. I think. Hang on, wait, I'll see if I can find it. If I can get that up. I might even have pictures of the thing I was talking about. Hang on now. Let's see. I'll open up. No. No, it's not going to do it on this one. Bummer. Hang on then. Try something else. Let's see if we can grab that. PowerPoint. Add source. There we go. There we go. Now let's see if I can find these hinges that I was talking about. I'm pretty sure I put them in here. This is what I'd put together like this here. Somebody was asking about the depth of Loch Ness there. I mean, that's like, if you drained out Loch Ness, that's roughly how weird, and all these crevices and kind of caverns, and it's like the Grand Canyon bits of it, you know? Very, very, very deep. Some bits of it are deeper than the North Sea. There you go. Scroll down. That's the stone, the great arm of Loch Ness. Here we go. That's what he found. There's Marty Klein right there. But this is what he had found. Look at these circles. Look at that big one. That looks like a giant one. Well, big one on the outside. Smaller one, and then a smaller one in the middle again. Pretty cool, eh? Pretty dang cool. Yep. That's the little presentation I put together for Fringe, the Fringe Fest. But yeah, that when you see how the water, how the loch looks like that, that's really weird looking, isn't it? Like really weird looking. Big time. Very bizarre, Karen. Very. Nothing as it seems, says my cats can see my aura or something lurking around my noggin. Maybe there's a fly. Maybe it spotted a fly. Zzz. Or maybe it sees your aura. Why hasn't anyone dived the caves under the loch? Dude, yeah, there's been deep sea divers gone down there. It is absolutely freezing. We're talking freezing. This is like dangerous diving places. It's not a... I wouldn't imagine it's good for your kind of commercial leisure type dives. There's the odd maniac that tries to swim the length of the loch and they get covered head to toe in goose fat before they even get in there. It's the cold. I always remember when we were young being told, you know, it's the cold that'll get you if you fall in. Even strongest of swimmers, it's that cold. It just cuts right through you. Yep. Oh, very bad, Carol. Very bad. If you've watched Oak Island and you see them going down, the diver going down in the shaft and the money pit and all that silt and it gets all, you just can't see anything. That's Loch Ness on a good day. Yep. Drone subs, use them. I'm sure one of the future searches coming up, they could do. I'm sure they could. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, you turn the lights on to record down there. It's like pea soup. You're not seeing far. Yep. Can he see a thing? Exactly, Dave. Can he see a thing? I suspect you're a Scotsman. Exactly. So, listen, I know they're doing another sonar sweep of the Loch in the upcoming, probably next year, with everything going on in the world right now. But because there's been some really good sonar returns this year, it's got some of the top sonar experts quite excited. I think they're getting sexually aroused by the idea of going back to Loch Ness. There's always a team somewhere that have a desire to go and try new technology and new technique. I remember one guy that built a damn cage. Adrian Shine, he built a cage. I'll show you that before I go. Adrian Shine. Loch Ness cage. I remember this, man. Because it was like, they had it on my shinty pitch. Please tell me they've got a picture of the... Oh, wow. Okay. Messaging me. I'm not going to check just now, though. Try to find this cage. No, that's not the one. Looks horrendous. Right, I'm going to have to get my mum maybe to send me photos of that, but it would have been the 80s, because I was a younger boy. No, probably the 80s. Where they had built a big massive, that's the wrong one, hang on. A big massive cage, and they covered the whole loch in boats. Like, all the way across it. And they went all the way up and all the way back with sonar and stuff. And if they'd got a return, they were going to fly this big cage there. I can't find a picture of it. That's disappointing. Adrian Shine. That's Adrian Shine there. He's been up there forever and ever. He actually opened a wildlife retreat with, I think it was Michaela Strachan and a number of other people. Done really well for a while. I think it closed though eventually. But yeah, he's like I'd say he's the world's leading expert, probably, on Loch Ness. There's other people that are monster experts, but Adrian Shine's been at it forever. And look at that beard. If nothing else, I mean, that's the beard of a reputable, well-established cryptid hunter. Look at it. You know, I ain't got a patch on this guy, man. Look at that. Look. I mean, he's even got handlebars and look at that. Back in the day, he was, I'm telling you, man, he was always going to be the monster man, right? Look at that. That's a distinguished looking monster hunter right there. Aye, it is. By golly. I'm signing autographs for being a monster hunter. How cool's that? That's pretty cool. And a bit of an action shot there. Monster will be absolutely off. Yep. Yeah. So, folks, with that said, I'm going to head on out of here and to go and get ready for the show over on tfrlive.com. Thank you all for being here today. We had a bit of Asylum Woo, Creepy Asylum X. We had a little update. The Monolith, it's nothing new. Might have been there from 2015, 2016. And we had a little bit of mysteries, stone mysteries, hidden underneath the water, both in Loch Ness and in the Great Lakes, but probably all around the world. If it's not directly visible on the bottom of a loch or at the bottom of a sea, bottom of an ocean, probably covered in just layers of mud or silt, will be evidence of things that have gone before. And that's what will keep us coming back time and time again as we keep on exploring the woo. thank you all so much for being here today. If you want to get into the VIP suite on a Sunday, click that join button down below. Subscribe to the channel. Hopefully you'll get updates. Tomorrow we'll do a stream, but no main show tomorrow. So if you're over in the US, have an absolutely amazing and awesome, a tremendous Thanksgiving from all of us here at KBS. That means me, and it means Dave. Keep your mind open. Keep looking for the woo, but not to the point where your brain turns to black goo. Yes, and nothing as it seems says a shout out to Ben Emlyn Jones. Ben always deserves a shout out. Love Ben. Check out his channel right here on YouTube. Ben the Junior Porter.